right, it has been a while since I've been using my M2 MacBook Pro. I know you guys remember I used to have the 16-inch M1 Pro MacBook Pro, and I talked about how great that laptop was. But ever since the release of the M2 Pros, I just had to. Now, originally, I did get the $3,000 one that's like the M2 Max, and I ended up downgrading, kind of downgrading, because technically I did downgrade in size because I went from the 16-inch to the 14-inch. However, I upgraded because I went from the M1 Pro to the M2 Pro. And a lot of people might think that's not a big jump, and I agree, it's not a big jump. But it was one specific thing that I was looking for that jump did for me. Now, on this channel, I talk about Mac products, but I also talk about other products. I just like Mac and Apple, and I just like it. This product is no different. I like this laptop. That's why I've gotten multiple generations of this laptop. So question number one on why did I go from a 16-inch to a 14-inch? Well, it wasn't price. It was actually convenience. My 16-inch was amazing. Big screen. I loved it. Looked great. Great speakers. However, I found that when I was going places, or even if I wanted to just go work on the couch, a 16-inch MacBook is just too much for me, personally, just me. I would like something a little bit smaller, more compact, which is kind of why I ended up going to the 14-inch. And the only downside to that is, one, the screen is a little bit smaller, so it's not as easy to edit on. And then two, the speakers don't sound as good. Now, they don't sound bad, they just don't sound as good. Now, how has it been with me using this pretty much every day since it came out? I have no real complaints. In fact, I have complaints about the M2 Max, which is why I returned it. See, I am a regular person. I do a little bit of content creating. I love taking pictures. I do a little bit of editing. And outside of that, I use my laptop like a regular person would. I don't need a lot of horsepower. The M2 Pro is like a Mustang 350. Let's say GT 350. And the M2 Max is like the GT 500. One has over 700 horsepower and one has around 500 in the mid 500s. Both are fast. Both are great cars. And in the same sense, both are great laptops. But for me, although I would get the GT 500, it costs more for speed that I won't use. I'm not going to use all 700 horsepower without trying to go to jail, honestly. Now, I might be able to use 500 a lot. It's just more fun, you know what I mean? And not to mention, significantly cheaper. So the M2 Pro 14-inch is $19.99, and the M2 Max 14-inch is a little bit over $3,000. You see my point here? But it is a MacBook, and the MacBooks work like MacBooks. They work well, they are refined, they have a great design. Now, this one is just my favorite because it is extremely portable. It does everything that I needed to do, and I needed one thing. When I edit with my 16-inch, when I had everything pulled up, I would get a lot of lag when I'm previewing the video that I'm editing. My main thing was hoping that I could preview my full 4K footage the way that I wanted to, and this did that for me. Now, that's a very niche thing to desire, right? In fact, if you have an M1 Pro or M1 Max, I honestly would never tell anybody to upgrade unless you went from an M1 Pro to an M2 Max, but the same level upgrades is kind of just not worth it, honestly. But for me, it was worth it. Now, the portability of the 14-inch I think is amazing. It is not as lightweight as the MacBook Airs, but still very lightweight, reasonable, right? I mean, it feels premium. It has a good little weight to it, so there's that. And the performance is pretty much exactly as expected. You can see 1,000 reviews for someone to tell you it works well. So for anybody questioning if you should get this, I will tell you what I don't like about this. Experiencing better speakers lets me know that these don't have the best speakers. They are far from the worst, but they're not the best. The screen size is 14 inches and it does look great. However, it is small. So if you were a fan of big screens, this is not it. This is a pricey laptop at $19.99. You can find a lot of good options at that price with Windows PCs and anything else, but well worth the money to me. However, I can see how some people would say the price isn't worth it. For anyone who is in the same situation as me, where you content create and you like editing, the M2 Pro for the average person is perfectly fine. You don't need to spend the extra money for the M2 Max. That's just been my experience. That's why it's not here. And yet again, to all the people who hate Apple, sorry, but I just don't have very much more than that to complain about. It's just not there. So let me know that I'm an Apple fanboy. I don't care. Hit that sub button. Have a good one. Peace.